Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Miss Sensational Gaming channel. I'm your host, Brittany, and in today's video is a brand new Let's Play. It's called Storyteller. It is some sort of puzzle game where you tell a story according to this game. It's complicated to explain, but it has to be in a specific order. There's also hidden secret stories that you could create, which we'll get to in just a moment. For now, let's begin.
Storyteller, a book about building stories.
Let's see here. I gotta make sure my microphone is up high, because I'm recording this on Bandcamp.
Storyteller, a book about building stories. At the end of this book lies a crown. It is bestowed only to the finest storytellers of the realm. Every page is empty, save for a title. It is your duty to fill these pages with the most captivating tales. Complete this book and prove yourself worthy of the title of Storyteller.
Okay. So now, let's see. Hold on.
At life and death.
Okay, so in this Let's Play, we're going to be focusing on Chapter 1.
Adam starts alone, finds love, and dies happy.
So right now, this is like a little bit of a tutorial. It already set up the background. All you have to do is place the characters in... All you have to do is place the characters in a specific part of the story. Adam starts alone, and then he finds love, and then he passed away happy. Okay, so before I continue further, there is some sort of secret stamp, and I may not be able to show you all of it right now, but I'm going to try my best to show you. Because I can barely remember, well, I certainly cannot show you in this Let's Play because right now we have to complete the base game. Which you can find it on stores, which is on Steam and other games. Not other games, but other apps that has this game. So I think in order to get the secret stamp story, you're going to have to complete the full one. So for now, let's continue further. I have to make sure of it.
Eve dies heartbroken.
So this is where you can actually place scenes. So this is the order. Eve finds love, and then her love passed away. So she passed away with a broken heart.
Seeing the ghost of a lover.
And here's the placement in order.
heartbreak with a happy ending.
And here's what the order is going to be. So Eve finds love, then her love is gone, but he is returned. You know what? Better yet, I don't think in chapters is going to do it. This is going to be like parts of it. Because I was going to do a chapter 1, but because of the fact that this one is a very, I would say it's a very short game, but it may be a little bit longer if you don't know how to solve it. So let's continue further. Hold on.
Life and death.
I'm waiting for him to say broken hearts, but something ain't right.
Life and death. Apparition.
I don't know what's going on with the narrator not saying broken hearts. That really upsets me.
A heartbreak is healed.
So, what you do in this, you have to do this. And then they added another thing here, which you must do it without deaths. So, I'm going to right click to remove the scenes. So, all the scenes will be taking place at a wedding. So, Edgar and Lenora will suffer a broken heart because he's already engaged to this lady. But all of that wasn't bad because she found another love, which is Bernard.
Rejected by own spouse.
Rejected by your own spouse is technically... They get married, then someone has amnesia, then marries someone else, and then the person that you are already married to, let's just say they end up getting rejected. So let's try this couple. You could try like this or this. Either way, it's going to be like the same format. So Edgar is going to have amnesia. He will have no memory of what his love is. He'll end up marrying Lenora. Then this happened. That is completely unfortunate. Okay, let's move on to the next page.
Everyone rejects Edgar.
Now this is a very tricky one because what happens is that you have to get someone married, but everyone must reject Edgar, which means that he will no longer be able to have love. So it's going to be like this. So what happened was Bernard is going to marry Lenora. And then Bernard will tell Edgar the bad news. However, Bernard is going to pass away and she will end up marrying a female. And Edgar is heartbroken again and again.
Surviving spouses find comfort.
So in this one, it has to go like this. 2 weddings, 2 death scenes, and 1 wedding. So Edgar is going to get married to this lady. I can't pronounce her name. Then Lenora is going to marry to Bernard. But then this will happen. Their significant other will pass away. but they find each other. And there you have it.
Apparitions.
That's the 3rd chapter. I don't know why the narrator could not say broken hearts.
Apparition.
But in this chapter, he said apparition.
Edgar shocks himself.
Now this one is a little bit tricky. This one's a little bit tricky because we only have 3 scenes but only 1 character. So let's see if I can remember. Yeah. But this is the solution. Basically, he passed away, becomes a ghost, and then he'll be shocked to realize that he passed away. He has no recollection that he was gone.
Heartbroken spouses are reunited.
So this one's a little bit tricky as well. So they get married, but there's a death situation, I believe. And this happens. Let's try it. So Edgar is going to marry Lenora, and then she passed away but gets revived, only to discover that her husband passed away, but he gets revived, and then this happens. And of course, here is the tricky part. Here's the tricky part. You have to get this couple reunited in the afterlife, which means that you have to remove everything right here, and then go like this. Something isn't right here. Okay, so I think what I need to do, if I remember correctly, I have to revive her. Then he passed away, and then she passed away, and then let's see if this is it. Yeah, that's the actual solution, but I just didn't remember it.
Heartbreak for everyone.
I always forget that part. Alright, so Edgar and Eleonora, not Eleanor, Eleonora, it's okay, so what happens was they get married. She lost Edgar. But she ends up marrying someone else. He gets revived. And what happened was, let's see, it can go either way. Okay, this one and this one. There we go. That's the solution. You can also switch around when it comes to the male characters, but as far as the female goes in this one, it's just, you know.
Oh, heartbroken dog dies happy.
Okay, so the solution to this one is love, time, death, revive, love, and death. And the time you leave to no characters. Here's the dog. He's growing old. His owner passed away. He's devastated, but he returns. And now the dog is going to be happy to see him return, and that's where he passed away happy. I want to make my dog happy too. I just want her to behave herself and not get into any trouble.
The cellar.
Now these have something to do with, let's just say, these 4. You'll see. No.
Beauty.
I should not have turned the page.
The cellar.
You basically have to click one of these. So let's begin.
Lenora drinks poison.
So what happened was Lenora gets married, lost her husband, and then she drinks the poison. So she can marry Bernard, but she could also marry Edgar. And I always choose Edgar for some reason. Maybe it's because I consider them as a very interesting couple. So Edgar passed away, and then she drinks the poison.
Double poison.
Double poison is more like, let's see, more like this. So what happened was these two are getting married, but his wife, his wife passed away. He drinks the poison, and that's where he passed away. However, what he didn't realize that she's been revived, but she's going to end up devastated to realize that her husband is gone, and that's where she drinks the poison. Now this is where it gets a little bit interesting. So let's go ahead and remove these, because I wanted to switch up. So I'm choosing her, and I have to create a story where someone drinks the poison twice. Which means that Lenora is going to suffer the consequences, or suffer the tragedy. She drinks the poison, but she ends up getting revived. Unfortunately, it does not bring back her love, so she drinks it again. Oh my goodness, this is sad. This is sad, but I kind of like this game. I have played the demo version in the past, and it was pretty fun.
Isabel is haunted by her husband.
Alright, so what happened was in the story, they get married, but a fight, he drank wine, or Isabel decided to poison him. But we're gonna go with this. Isabel and Edgar get married. They have a fight because they're not a fitting couple. He drinks the wine to relax himself, only to realize that Isabel poisoned the drink, and that's where he dies. Unfortunately for her, she gets haunted by the ghost, and as you can tell, whenever you do something to a person that you despise, when a character despises each other, they end up doing terrible things like, well, you get to see why in this game. So in this, for example, Isabel poisoned her husband, but she ends up getting haunted by the ghost, who is very mad at her.
Murder of jealousy.
Alright, so this is murder of jealousy. So what happened was Edgar and I keep saying Eleanor. Edgar and Lenora get married, but then Isabel will end up finding out that he is married to Lenora. She drinks the wine, just relaxing herself, but not realizing that Isabel just poisoned her drink, and there you go. Now, here's where it gets a little bit tricky. But I just figure out the solution. No worries. So, this is sort of like the similar, but instead, she poisoned her drink, she dies. When Edgar finds out, he decided to end his life just for her. And when Isabel finds out that Edgar drinks the poison, she ends up regretting it and took her life as well.
Beauty.
Okay, next up we have chapter 5, which is beauty. So this have some bit of tie-in relations of Snow White. You'll see.
Which becomes the mirror's favorite.
So what you do is that you do this. He ends up finding out that Snowy, or Snow White to be exact, is the favorite, so she transformed into an old lady to put a curse on her, so that she could be... Oh, wait, never mind. There's something else that I need to do. I need to make sure she turns back into her normal self. I should have thought about that, but it is what it is.
Curse is lifted.
Alright, so the curse is lifted is more like... Let's see. More like this. So the witch wants a kiss for the prince, but he's like, ew, no, and that's where she gets mad and put a curse on him. Then the frog prince talks to Snow White, let him know what's up, and the curse was lifted.
A kiss and a curse.
So basically what it is that it has to be like in this order and in this order. So a kiss and a curse. So the kiss goes first. So she transformed into a beautiful woman, and she ends up falling in love with the prince, and they kiss. But then she decided to turn herself back into the old lady, and then this happened. So he's cursed.
Tiny gets a kiss.
Okay, so this one is almost a bit tricky because there's an extra thing that you need to do. So what you need to do is that you need to get Tiny and the prince to turn into frogs. So it goes like this. So the witch, she has 4 petals. So Tiny goes first, then the prince, and then the prince talks to Snow White. Little does she know that the frog is Tiny. Okay, now here's where it gets a little bit tricky. A little bit tricky indeed. So, first off, we're going to do the prince saves Tiny. This is where the mirror told her that Snow White is the favorite, so that's where she transforms her into a frog. Then the prince shows up and knows that Snow White is talking to him, but little did he know that once he got into the boat, he ends up kissing this person. Weird, isn't it? Alright. So here's the last thing. Because there's 2 things here. And those 2 things is ungrateful wife. Not ungrateful wife, but ungrateful maiden. This is where it gets tricky. Because you have to make sure that you do this properly. Alright, so the witch turns the princess into a frog because the mirror favors her. Then Tiny shows up and realizes that it was the princess, but she doesn't... I don't think she knows what Tiny looks like. I don't know. Excuse me, it's weird. Alright, so she gets a kiss from Tiny, but for some reason, she's not liking it because he's not what she's expecting. Definitely ungrateful, no doubt about it.
The manor.
Alright, so next up, chapter 6 is the manor, but I'm going to have to end this because that is it for part 1. Stay tuned for part 2.